What materials would you want to use indoors versus outdoors?
The biggest one that I'm a big fan of doing outdoors, if you're talking signage, is, well, one, yard signs. Obviously, that's an easy one. Corrugated material, then because of your plastic. Hey everybody, welcome back to the FIP Printing Pros podcast. I'm your host, Josh Steinison. With me, my co-host, Chris Lockwood.
What's up?
And today, again, we're continuing our series. I think we got maybe four more, something like that after this one. Almost done. But this one today, we're going to be going over, will be signs and banners and kind of what materials to choose for the type of job that you're trying to complete.
Yeah.
Yep. And basically, I guess we'll start with just kind of listing off some of the materials that we've got, and we can kind of go over just different things. So you have your different materials, and again, I don't have a list necessarily out in front of me, but we have max metal signs, your corrugated signs, which is like yard signs. You have PVC signs, foam board, and then we have styrene, polystyrene.
What's that?
So that would be the best. It's plastic, but It's a thicker plastic, harder plastic. And how I would describe it is, if you ever bought a car and they have like the little plastic dealership tag on the license plate area, like the license plate area, that's usually like a polystyrene type of thing. Some will use like a cheapy cardboard, but the ones when it's like plasticky, like you can feel it, it has that little like that sound it makes. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Those are like typically like a polystyrene. Yeah. There's a couple others probably out there that we would do, but those are our main ones we keep in stock because they're well used, but we can order different type of stocks out there too if need be for signage. What
about vinyl? Did you say vinyl?
Yeah, well, that's the signage. Then you got your material, your like roll banner type stuff.
Banner, okay, yeah.
So
banners,
you got stickers, which is just your permanent stickers, or there are ones you can get that are easily removable, like stickers. And you got your vinyl, and on that one you can do two different ones. You can do the 13 ounce, which would be single side, or you can do the 18 ounce, which you can do double sided on. And then you got your mesh. So like think about just think of like a mesh feel of a shirt. Mm-hmm. So it's that meshy feel compared to just the straight vinyl almost.
Or like I've seen the ones that are like signs hanging on a fence around a construction site. You can see through it, so the wind will go through it, but you can still see what's printed on it. Yeah.
Now, there are also what we call like a 50-50 or 70-30 type of material that you put like on a window, and you can see out.
Window cling type things.
No, window clings are different. Window clings are window clings typically like a chamber. You're part of the chamber or whatever. And window clings typically you'll have the design on the front and you can stick it on the inside, so it's kind of sticky, but it's easily removable. Yeah. It's more like a static cling, basically, is what it is. Okay. But what I'm talking about is a design element. So like you'll see, like, when you go to a lot of with the big windows and they have a design.
You know who has that a lot? Military recruiting offices have that. So they'll have like a whole mural you can't see in, but when you're on the inside, you can see out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, the 50-50 perf. So there's what they call that a perf, and like material. Perf vinyl, and that is where you can do 50-50, 60-40,
and that's
or
how
70-30.
Transparent it is, right?
Yeah, the more the higher you go 70-30, it's less they can see in, whereas 50-50 you can, like, maybe if you get closer or something like that, be able to see in. It's not as bad, but most people go with 50-50. One, it's cheaper, not like a little cheaper, but also like they're not trying to like keep people from like totally being able to see in, but they like the design element of using their window space to advertise.
Yeah. What about magnets? Where does magnets fit in?
Magnets, yep, that's another one we can do. Magnets, that's you can do both. Right now we can do it on our flatbed, but you can do it on the roll as well. And with the roll, though, with the wide format, you have to get a special non-magnetizing inside the machine, so that when it's rolling through, it doesn't stick to the sides.
That could be bad.
Yeah, because they're trying to magnetize. So, but you can get it's like an extra cost to within the machine. You can add those elements to where it doesn't magnetize. So, because most of your machines are more metally parts when you're doing all that kind of stuff, but you can like add like little extra things on them that basically protect that from being able to roll through there.
So let's kind of break this down into, let's talk about signage. What are what materials would you want to use indoors versus outdoors?
So outdoors, I mean, the biggest one that I'm a big fan of doing outdoors, if you're talking signage, is, well, one, yard signs. Obviously, that's an easy one, corrugated material. And then because of your plastic, so you don't have to worry about, rain or anything like that, like warping or messing it up. Again, anything outside over time, when you are printing something, it will fade over time now. But we do UV inks that it does help with that. It curates a little better. And also the material you're going on the max metal, usually I've been told, Florida sun is a little more harsher. So, 5 to 7 years, maybe more, depending on if it's direct sunlight, whatever that looks like too. But what I would not recommend outside is like your foam boards, your PVCs, because those are not the type of material that they absorb things basically,
and they're not as heat resistant too. I would
I mean, to be honest, I never recommend anybody to put that outside, so I've never really tested that, but I would imagine probably not. But more so, I'm thinking from the rain aspect, like they absorb the moisture,
the water,
Whereas the other stuff will just, you can spray wash it and do whatever if you need to. Because here you get, in Florida, unfortunately, you do get some like more of that, what do you call it? Not mossy, but like a greeny.
Like the pollen stuff.
Whatever, stuff that you got to spray off sometimes. You can do that. Max metal is what I would say outside 100% if it's a sign. Or if you're using it for yard signs, corrugated or anything like that. That's the two I would use. The other thing too is like for vehicle wrap or something like that, there's special vinyl materials you can use, vinyl banners, and or magnets that go on like a vehicle. Those are all like outdoor stuff I would use for. Everyone has a different use, but and again, all those are a vinyl or a plastic or something like that or metal that can withstand the outdoor conditions.
Okay.
If you want to leverage different print and promotional products for your company but don't know how to go about doing it, click the link below and let's schedule a free strategy session with me, and I'd love to help you guys out. Look forward to talking with you.
When it comes to, we had an earlier episode about the artwork and stuff like that. Is there any special considerations for the artwork when it comes to signs and banners? Because now we're talking a lot bigger printing area than if you're just printing out a booklet.
Yeah, so a lot of majority of our materials, first and foremost, now everyone's different, but majority of the ones that are the rigid materials, which were, most of the sign stuff, the roll banners and vinyl and stuff like that usually is on a roll. So that's each of those have their different sizes, but the rigid materials typically come on a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet. So you can design that large. But the thing you have to keep in mind is that on our machine, we throw it on a cutter afterwards, and you have to give space for it to read like the cut marks, the dot marks we put on it, so then when it goes on the cutter, it knows where to cut it properly. So it doesn't, usually, unless you're okay, you don't go a bleed all the way to the outside. And again, bleed is meaning like, I didn't have the material over here, I should have grabbed it, but if the design goes all the way to the outside, then you need a bleed. Otherwise, there's the potential of an extra white thin strip on the outside. So if you're going full 4-foot by 8-foot to the edge and a design is going all the way to the edge and you need a bleed, and that's going to not be possible because we're already at 4 foot by 9 or by 8.
Now, is this recommended for you to have the vectored image because you're going to be blowing that image up? So depending on what you're making, if you're making one big sign, you're gonna, that needs to be an image that can be stretched without it losing its proportions. Right?
I'm a big fan of vector because then you never have to worry. So if you've got vector, I always say use vector. But to my knowledge, again, I'm not the expert, but from my understanding, the art side of it, from my designer, she just has to create it specifically for that size so that it doesn't stretch. However, you can only stretch certain artworks that are provided to certain levels. So that can make it difficult if you're wanting a larger sign. But if they have a large enough DPI and picture for the pixelations to be able to go that large, then it wouldn't be an issue. Yeah. But vector, always you're going to be clear on that. So I always say try to provide vector line art as much as you can so that it just makes it easy.
So last question on this, what kind of things, is there anything you can't print on a sign or a banner to your knowledge? Like I know I've seen photos, just like regular photos done, words, pictures.
I mean, again, it all depends on the quality you're bringing, but I will say on those machines, sometimes it doesn't give like the best color matching abilities. It does pretty well. It does pretty well. It's usually not an issue, but compared to like the print side where we can be very detailed and like adjust really well, it is a little harder to adjust on this, just the way it does it. But I would say there's really not much limitation on what you can print on there.
I think one of the coolest things I've seen printed on those machines, and if y'all will just imagine two giant beds, two giant flat surfaces. One is where the printer is just big printing head that just goes back and forth, and the other one is another machine the same size where it cuts everything out. But the coolest thing I've seen printed is the pictures and the clear. I guess it's acrylic.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and so it was the pictures, the team pictures printed on those, so it's almost kind of translucent, but you can see that's the coolest thing I've seen printed on those.
Yeah, and what we can do on the acrylic, I didn't even mention acrylic as one of the pieces that, but you can print on the back side of it and create almost a 3D element because you have the thickness of the acrylic going through it, so it almost looks like a 3D element of looking into the image because we print it on the backside reverse so that it comes.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So lots of ideas, lots of different signs, banners, materials to choose from. So, if you're looking for more than just a brochure, if you have events and stuff like that coming up, or if you need to decorate your office or your workplace, or you need signs for outside.
We can print wallpaper.
Wallpapers,
we do not want to install.
I don't blame you on that one. But so it's the I don't know what you call them, the photo op things, right?
Yep.
The pull up banners. So you have this thing that's on a roll and you pull it up when you set up a display. I've seen those printed there.
Yep, we do all that stuff.
All of those kind of things. Realtors, the for sale signs. You've got all those different things that movie posters and if you can imagine it can be done. So
and a lot of sporting events like we've printed like for some big universities and like print all their posters that they give out to fans and things like that for the start of the season, and then they have the whole schedule on it and everything. So we've done that as well. So, but yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit with all that kind of stuff, but that gives a little idea of the different type of materials, what they're kind of used for. And we'll continue the series next week. And until next time, let's grow together.
It's time to step up. Yeah, it's grind time. No more letting up. No, running faster, further. No more running up. Yeah, giving my all. No more giving up. Listen to me. Step. It's time to step it up. Yeah, it's time to step it up. Step. It's time to step it up. Yeah, it's time to step it up. It's time to step up.